Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday night, so it's time for Arkansas Motorsports Magazine's Tuesday Night Tune-Up. And tonight, we're in Little Rock, Arkansas at Lost 40 Brewing. They're our host sponsor tonight, and we want to appreciate them for having us. And I'm Bill Gilkey, along with my co-host Heath Tate, and we're with Spencer Andrews, as well as Peyton Taylor. And we've got an exciting show tonight. And before we get underway, we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Chambers Bank with 28 locations throughout Arkansas. We want to thank Kevin Rogers with KR Performance Fuels. We want to thank True Grit Auction Service, Arkansas's #1 online auctioneer for the state of Arkansas, out of Dardanelle, Arkansas. They got some exciting stuff going on this week, so please check out their Facebook page and other advertisements. We also want to thank Skyway Buick GMC up in Joplin, Missouri, for all they do for helping bring Arkansas Motorsports Magazine's Tuesday Night Tune-Up. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to our co-host Heath Tate with the Weston Petroleum Racing Recap of the Week. Heath?
Peyton won at baseball Friday night.
That's pretty fun.
Pretty good race there. Jeremy Kirkendall won I-30.
Yeah, congratulations to Kirkendall. That was our old Shaw car, and it was good to see him win it. I think that's the second or third night out, and Jeremy ain't been in the car, and probably it's been a few moons since Jeremy's been in there. So to see him get out there, and
he had a good run over there.
And I told him out of the gate that thing was going to be good. So
they had a big race down at Diamond Park down there, the Mod Lights, and I think Blake Wilson
won that.
Yeah.
And also want to say congratulations to our friend Dale Nelson over in Milan, Tennessee, who won the J.D. Garrison Memorial Race. And that was a very good and exciting stock car race Friday night.
That thing, you could have threw a blanket over the top floor of the whole race. It was unreal.
There was a lot of passing and shuffling back and forth to the lead. It was just everything you want in a stock car race. Also, before I forget, one of our other sponsors, Shaw Race Cars in Batesville, Arkansas. Just got a little ahead of myself, and we want to thank all those fine folks there. And like I said, we're sitting here tonight with Spencer Andrews and Peyton Taylor, and there's a lot of excitement going around with the 01 car that's parked here behind us. And Heath, I'm going to kick it over to you and let you kick off tonight's show.
Peyton's been on here before. We've talked to you a little bit about racing, and you talk to us a little bit what's going on. I mean,
we've started a partnership with Vaccinate Arkansas, trying to push the vaccine and push and be part of the solution, and that was all the brainchild of Spencer here. He's kind of, I'm going to honk his horn just for a minute, but I'm telling you right now, this guy and his family has opened up more to me as far as learning how to market and how to take care of your sponsors, how to get sponsors. There's just so much navigation. And anybody that knows me knows I ain't got no confidence shortages. So when he come in and it's like, hold on, you're doing this way wrong. This is how we need to do it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'm good. And man, he is just, not only we built a hell of a friendship, he's taught me a ton, and he's really brought racing and put fun back in, not just for me, but like my wife and kids and his wife and kids, and his brother and his dad, and their whole family. We have fun with it, and Spencer, I'll let you tell a little bit more about our story.
Yeah, I mean, we want you to keep that confidence, right? But you're also a great person to work with. Your social following, your engagement online, the way you treat your people, that stuff resonates with people that we're trying to get on the car, and you're also a hell of a wheelman, and I've been around enough races to know that I'm seeing something special when you're behind the wheel of that car. So it makes it easier to market it when you have that set up. Peyton and I I had worked with Mark some on a charity deal with Race for Hope. It was getting legs under it, and I think second year that the Race for Hope happened, we got a lot of sponsors, got some businesses here out of Little Rock to support it. It was just a really fun project. Not my normal job that I was doing. And then when Mark kind of let Mooney and Connie take over the Race for Hope and kind of run with that deal, as he was moving out of state doing his RV deal, he said, I've got this guy for you to work with. His name's Peyton Taylor. You know him? And I'm like, yeah, I know Peyton. Are you going to tell me I got to go tell sponsorship for dirt track? And he said, I think I know both of you, and both of you are going to work well together. So I didn't know him until Mark introduced me to him. And first race we worked together, we won a $10,000 race up in Lucas Oil Speedway. With Acre Trader on board for the first race, and it was just awesome. Like, great.
Well, the finished product was awesome. We had a tough time getting there because everything we touched we could not find the balance for this car. And, Tony Jacks Jr. and Ricky and just everybody jumped in, and we did what we felt like we needed to do. We changed everything other than the steering wheel and the driver, and that was the next two things to go. But it was awesome to have a big corporate sponsor on there, and just almost Cinderella story, and I won a lot of different street stock races, but man, I never could get them horns. And to win that one, and then we went back with Acre Trader again, didn't we? Did we have
Actually, you did not have Acre Trader on the second.
Nope. All right, that's right. And but we wound up winning back to back, and we was the only driver to ever do that. So just beyond humbled to have that experience and to do something that good for a company like Acre Trader and Andrews Auto Sport, and having them involved in it, it was just pretty special, not only for me, but like for our families also.
Now you've raced for a long time, and like I said, you ventured out in the sport, but right here in Arkansas, and in just the experiences you've had since you've joined forces with Spencer, and I want you to relate this back to all the people watching tonight, and I know there's a lot of racers that watch the show. How important, and would you have ever thought that the marketing game was so important and so beneficial to the sport of dirt track racing? Would you have ever imagined that years ago? Or would you have imagined that 3 years ago?
I've always knew that sponsors were huge, but I never knew how to make the logistics work where it was better for them than it was for me. I always, back before, and it's just like most racers out there. They don't worry about what the sponsor gets. They worry about what they can get from the sponsor. So I think once you lose that mindset, and there's just so much stuff that goes in there to make a team and to have I guess to get all the ingredients in there. But to answer your question, I've always known that sponsorship was big and taking care of the sponsors was big, but I never really knew how to navigate it. And once we got together and he kind of opened my eyes up, I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. But, there's so much more than just people saying, oh, you got Acre Trader on there, you got Andrews Auto Sport on there, or Law Sporty, or, Vaccinate Arkansas. You get all this, and it ain't necessarily about the money. I mean, it is, but it ain't. Them people, they expect you got to carry yourself different. You got to make appearances, you got to haul the car down here, you got to decal it, there's just so much more,
And there's not a lot of time to do it.
No, I mean, when you're, like, we've got our Peyton Taylor Performance Shop, it stays busy, 4 days out of the week, we're racing on Friday, Saturday. There's just not enough hours a day, and then you migrate all this sponsorship and team owner stuff in there, and I ain't gonna say it's stressful, but it can get stressful, and to do it at the level I feel like we do that, there's so much. That's what I was telling my wife on the way down here. Everybody thinks this is this and this, but you know, when you got, there's just always people looking at you. You know, when you're in that public eye, you know, and I tell all my guys this, you know, when you're out there, them kids look up to you, you know. The kids' parents look, you know, they're expecting a certain Peyton Taylor to show up, you know, and if that guy don't show up and some other crackerjack, you know, shows up, you just lose everything you've built, you know, just like you can't be fighting, you know, you've got to be on your best 110% of the time.
I don't want to say that without the appreciation that at least I have for authenticity. I mean, I don't want Peyton Taylor to change really a thing other than to be his best self. I think these companies appreciate that. And one of the things we're doing, we're looking at a company on our car is who really needs to be exposed to this audience. Acre Trader really needed that. You know, there's a lot of agricultural sponsors in dirt track racing, and they are not well known, but they are like on the come up. They're a growing company out of Arkansas, so we want to represent them. They're a great brand. So that makes sense. For Lost 40, everybody in Little Rock drinks Lost 40, right? Not everybody in Batesville is Rock County, but so this is a way to get around that, but that's a solution too. It's just not everybody outside Central Arkansas is drinking Lost 40, even though they're the biggest brewery in the state. So this is a window for them to an audience that they can't get to. Vaccinate Arkansas. We know we have vaccine hesitancy in dirt track racing. So they saw this is a way to get in front of those folks in an authentic way. We are not. I am not trying to make these things overly corporate. I know our car looks corporate. I want that because I'm thinking about those guys. But I want Peyton Taylor to be interesting. I want him to be appealing. And I'll tell you what, when you're talking to folks about sponsorship, there is, I mean, a commercial comes on television, you DVR past that. You're driving down the interstate and you see a billboard, you're driving past it, you might have remembered it. But when you throw a logo on a car going 100 miles an hour sideways in the corner, you're damn sure going to remember that. And so we really have something to sell. Not everybody understands dirt track racing, but they know when they go see it that this is sexy, this is awesome, this is a good place to have our brand, and that's what these folks found out.
And in talking about dirt track racing, I'm going to say that with Spencer here. You didn't start off in dirt track racing.
No.
You started off in NASCAR, and now you've come back to the dirt track. Explain to us a little bit about
How you got started.
how you got started and what you've done with NASCAR, and then come back down to this.
Yeah, and I haven't. I mean, it's a different approach. I mean, I've got to be honest. Peyton knows this. I can't drive worth a flip. I'm not any good at turning a wrench, right? But I love this sport so much, and I have ever since I was a kid. And so I was going I-30, watching these races, taking my friends there. I didn't know anybody there. I was just watching it. And then when I went to college out in North Carolina, I realized I'm 5 miles from Mooresville. I'm sitting in between DEI, Joe Gibbs Race, and Penske. I mean, if you triangulate those three, that's where I'm at. So, and so I just go by and look at those shops, take friends that came into town, like, take a look at this, and we go to Charlotte, we go watch practice. I mean, all kinds of, go to Darlington, and be back at the door that night. I mean, we do all kinds of stuff. But I didn't think there was a role for me to play in any of this. When you go to those teams, they've got 100 employees. And they have somebody that does accounting. They have someone that flies a plane. They have someone that books hotels. They have someone that writes the press releases. And they have someone that does marketing. So I went in as a PR rep in NASCAR. I started in the Busch Series in 2002. And I spent 6 seasons full-time on the road, a little bit more time in NASCAR than that. But I was in a hotel, 4 nights, and I was at home, and it was, one of the best chapters of my life. I worked for Rouse Racing for a while, worked for DEI, for Michael Waltrip, a 15 car. Had a great time at Evernham. That was a great experience. Worked with Scott Riggs there and Casey Kane. This just was, it was a great chapter in my life, but at some point, maybe, like you're working in the music industry or something like that, you want to have a wife and kids. So I moved back here because I met my wife, and that's why I'm in Arkansas, and I thought that dream was over. One thing I did learn in NASCAR was an appreciation for dirt track racing. Those folks there have not forgotten that route, or those roots, and they are fascinated by it. They keep up with it, they care about it, and I learned more about it them than I did growing up here going to I-30. So you come back, and it's a natural progression for this to be where I spent time. And really, what I want to do is I want to have a team, so I'm a little bit more in control about what we're doing. Because in NASCAR, with 100 employees on every team, you're not necessarily in control. You have a lot of fun, but you're not in control of what all is happening to you.
So, from a marketing professional that you are, and talking about dirt stock car racing in Arkansas, what is the horizon for marketing for businesses in Arkansas through dirt track racing? How big of a horizon is there out there for other businesses and companies that might be watching the show tonight?
I think they're flat out missing it. I mean, you got, Lance Landers here in this state, best late model team in the country. And, I mean, other than the, Spartan, I don't know who could sell some car. I mean, that thing should be sponsored by Simmons Bank. I mean, something. There's Iceland or
But I guess where I'm trying to go with the fan following, and I'll say something about dirt track stock car racing. The fans are loyal to people who sponsor the sport, and I think there are a lot of businesses and companies out there that are missing the boat on that deal.
They don't understand the loyalty or just I call it stickiness of the impression. I mean, as a marketer, you're looking for impressions and hits. This is sticky. You don't forget race car. Whereas you do all the, 50% of marketing dollars are flat out wasted. Billboards, television commercials, even sponsors, they're flat out wasted. So if you can just build a little bit of understanding around your branding, to make it work in different layers and play off each other. Like, for example, y'all want to come do a show with us tonight? Well, let's do it at Lost 40. That's great for them. That's awesome for them. Let's put Vaccinate Arkansas on the car and have it behind us. That's great for them. It's a whole other layer. That just give them ROI. And I don't know how to look at anything other than through an ROI lens. Like return on investment. What are you getting out of it? But yeah, the fan base is loyal. They appreciate it. Return on investment.
You just keep
I don't know
driving.
if it's the best ROI I've ever spent money on, but
You just keep driving the boat.
from a fun perspective, you are.
And obviously, Peyton is one of the top drivers in the state of Arkansas.
Yes.
But let's also say this, one thing about the state of Arkansas, and Peyton will agree with this, the talent pool for good race car drivers in Arkansas is deep.
It's strong, and it gets stronger every weekend because, you just take these younger kids, I mean, there's so many of them, and they're working hard. They know they got to run against people that's been doing it for 20 years, and there ain't no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to victory lane. You got to work your tail off, and just like the little Drake Finleys and Keaton and even Eric Perry and all these guys, Little Wilkie. There's so many people, and I'm missing a bunch of them. But they are putting the time in. They're in the shop. They're working. They're getting better, and they may not be winning every weekend, but you know what? They're setting themselves up for that big win, that big normally, or that race for hope, or whatever, when they can, if they do get there in the front and them weekly shows when you're out there leading and just say it cleans out on the bottom, you can't pass nobody. Well, that right there teaches you, hey, maybe if I'm getting in lap traffic, maybe I don't need to throttle up and get right on them and have an issue. Maybe I just need to be patient, conserve my tires, and so they're doing all these weekly shows and running week in, week out, and they're there. They're working hard, and so you got the young talent. Then you got the older talent like Wayne Brooks. I don't even want to talk about that guy. He's cost me two this week, or this year. He ain't really cost me, but he's daddy leads.
I don't know how else that would be costing you.
Well, he cost me once, yeah. But he's, that guy is, he's forgot.
He's one of them as you talk about that works on that car daily.
Yeah, I mean, he's forgot more about racing than most racers will ever know. And I mean that true, and just like me and Wayne was racing the other night, and he beat me again, but I knew if we got up there hands down, I ain't got to worry about not knocking the far out of it. He ain't got to worry about me hitting him. We can race 3 inches off each other all the way around baseball and never touch.
That's a quality product for a sponsor.
And if you was talking about young guys, and I want to mention a young guy that I got to interview this past Friday night on our Victory Lane report at baseball that we do every week. 13-year-old Cody Maple races in the front wheel drive division. And the winners come in and we talk to him every Friday night after races. Cody's been on twice. And Cody gets the marketing deal. Because Cody comes in there and I ask him the same way he's to take us through the race. Cody's got his sponsors down pat, he delivers it spot on, and he'll always say when he's about ready to leave the show, I'll be back here next week and see you, Bill. He understands, and he understands the marketing aspect, and he's 13, 14 years old.
Oh, we should be scared of that.
Yeah,
we should be. I'm scared of that. As a 42-year-old marketing guy, it's hard to keep up with, Keaton and Wilkie and these guys, they know how to use social.
Yeah,
they know absolutely how to do this.
But I got to give a shout out to my young buddy there, Cody Maple, in the front wheel drive division. He understands it, and he's going to be a good one of these days.
Good kid for sure.
What Spencer, you was talking earlier about your avenue to NASCAR, and we've said a lot being over here in Arkansas, and we're a little bit geographically at a disadvantage to NASCAR in the Carolinas. Should a youngster who, like I said, maybe he's not talented at driving a car, maybe he's not good with wrenches, but he's got a good head on his shoulders for business and marketing, should he be afraid to make that leap and make the jump to North Carolina and give that economic opportunity over there a try?
If you're talking about getting the business side, absolutely. I mean, it just... Those programs have to stay young and they have to look for talent. So they're going to hire interns in the summer to pick their brains about how to market their products or whatever it is. There are opportunities out there. Absolutely. I like to think of just find the thing you're good at. And if you really like racing, find the thing you're good at and then go do it in racing. Like I mentioned the counter, we can go do that in racing. We'll fly a plane, do it in racing. There's full-time jobs in that if you love it. You may not be the best wheelman, you may not be the best mechanic, but you can, live your dream in that industry. It's absolutely possible. It may not just be NASCAR. I mean, this could be Indy cars, this could be late models. There's a lot of stuff out there that is also viable as well.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, in saying that, in 2002 when you got out there, how did you go about getting into NASCAR? You loved it, you went, you breathed it here. Now, do you just go up and knock on the door at Rouse and say, hey, I want a job? Or how did that come about?
Yeah, that was tough.
That's a good question.
No, that part isn't easy. They're saying, there's no opportunity. Well, there is, but it's not. That does not mean it's easy. I decided about junior year, this is what I wanted to do, and I was looking for any contact I could find in the racing industry. And I didn't know anyone. Someone knew Ryan McGee, and I talked to him for a little bit. He was doing some recruit there, and that was a good break. But the Davises helped me out. Gail Davis let me write some press releases for her team. They paid me a little bit to do some website content for them. And that is literally all I needed. It's just someone take seriously and let me do something for me. I don't think it cost them $50, $100, but it meant so much to the start of my career. And the only reason they did that is because I'm from Arkansas. I was out there. That's all the connection I had to have. So if you're from Arkansas, just look for people from Arkansas that are going and doing that. And I guarantee you they'll pay attention to you. And if you're an up-and-coming race car driver in Arkansas, Arnold's going to pay attention to you. He lives for this. He pays attention to this stuff. He will call out anybody that's doing good. So you look for your people that share the same history with you, and and try to get some opportunities there. I did have to do an unpaid summer internship before my senior year, and that was with IMG Sports. Well, IMG Sports is a big deal. They're still around. They have a raceback Ford properties. Boy, that was time well spent. And then once I got out, it still didn't go that well. I was working at I was bartending for 6 months. College degree. Didn't get hired until a week before Daytona for an unsponsored Bush team. But that's really all I need. Just get in the garage area, make some friends, and go from there.
And that's being a part of an unsponsored Bush team. Did you really feel the pressure, especially from the PR and marketing side, to go out and find?
Yeah.
What was the pressure like to find sponsorship for that team?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't really responsible for finding the sponsors. I was responsible for getting them into the press, getting media coverage, and letting the folks that were doing selling for sponsorship do their job. I was there for interviews, press releases, appearances. That was what I was doing at that stage.
But obviously, you were a big part of that wheel.
Yeah, but honestly, that wasn't that good. Homestead, we're done. I got laid off and hired by the 16 cars in Roush the same day. It was like hours apart. Biggest letdown and biggest, don't cheat. But no, you're just trying to work with those guys. I mean, we would have various sponsors of the car. We might do a deal with Mac Tools, right? They give us $20,000 in tool boxes, and we'd have them on the car. We could do something with that. We got top 10 finishes with that. We had Cox Cable on the car. I was working with Tim Sauter. This is my first year. I remember one year we went to Memphis and we didn't have anything on the car, nothing. And St. Jude's is in Memphis, and I knew a lot of people like St. Jude, right? I actually knew it because I was a patient there back in the late 70s. And so we're going to Memphis to race track. So why don't we run them on cars as a nonprofit fundraising thing for them? Reach out to some folks from St. Jude's, and we were running kids' artwork. They were drawing the car in pictures and we were putting it on the car. That was a concept we came up with, and we got it, top 5 finish, and all of a sudden ESPN's interviews. I mean, it was great. And now some other people ripped off that concept of mine and started using it. They didn't see it on these other cars, but that's okay. I was on to another thing at that point. But that was you just work what you got. Try to get attention, try to get positive stories. You got to hustle a little bit in those situations.
What does the dirt track racer here in Arkansas? What does he need to be doing to capitalize the most on his exposure?
Peyton's got it easy because he's got me doing all that stuff for him. All he has to do is drive.
And I'm not asking you to give away any marketing secrets, but for the Cody Maples and people like that out there, what?
Well, okay. First off, kind of realize your value. I've seen all, I get all these friend requests now that I'm involved in dirt racing. I don't know who these folks are. And it's great, it's nice. But what happens is your friend list grows to 5,000. Facebook caps you out 5,000. So you've got, there's going to be a 17-year-old out there with 5,000 friends. And that is a marketing force right there. That is a way to cut through Facebook's algorithms. That's a way for a brand to get in front of people in an easier way than advertising. So you all of a sudden have a platform that's very good, and you got this. Probably you guys that young aren't even messing around with Facebook. They'll get that many friends, and then they'll be really good at Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, and they can build that platform where they can speak to folks, and then they have value beyond just that car running around the track. One really cool thing about racing is when the car runs around the track, people take pictures, and they take video, it gets on social, and that's where your ROI is. It actually isn't the 1,000 people in the stands. I mean, it is.
That's return on investment.
Yeah,
I got that building note.
But I think kids are savvy with that. If I was doing that, I would be learning. I would be trying hard on video production. That is where it is all at. 20 to 30 second videos, not 2 minutes. 20 to 30 second videos of whatever happened to you last Friday night. And there are so many people out there willing to share that and like that and are proud to know somebody that does that. They may not be in the stands, but they're an asset to you. So I just think you can build your own following here and then start paying attention to the veterans, the Peytons and Jeff Taylor and even Mark Martin. I mean, these folks are paying attention to the grassroots scene in their backyard. They care about it, and they'll help you. And so you build a fan base. You respect the veterans and you connect with them, and you're probably going to get some exposure to that.
What do you have there, Heath? Oh, okay. But in doing that, and let's talk about social media. Back in the old days when when we didn't have social media. Talk a little bit about the differences back then of doing marketing and sponsorship and racing versus now that we have media, social media.
And we're getting our product drop here.
Yeah, we're here at Lost 40 Brewing again tonight. We want to thank them. They're our guest host tonight, guest sponsor for hosting us tonight. So again, a very fine Arkansas-based company, and we want to thank them for having us on the program tonight.
I'm drinking their Rockhound IPA, and Peyton,
Go ahead and tell them.
I mean, every hardcore racer I know drinks fruity drinks. I don't get it. I'm telling you, this is all the way up at the top levels of NASCAR.
This is the Raspberry King right
I
here.
think it's because they were all racing and not like pledging a fraternity, you know? Because they're pledging a fraternity, they'd be drinking what I was drinking, but you know, I think they were all
Well,
racing.
now I'll say this: a few of the races I've been around for the end of, you know, and nothing against Lost 40, but sometimes drivers they just don't care what's cold, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, very very fine product here with Lost 40. So.
Question you were
The
asking.
question was asking how much easier it is these days with social media, to the extent it is, versus back in the old days when you didn't have Facebook and Instagram and.
I think it levels the playing field. I mean, I had people, when we launched this team, the video production we did, which was like by my neighbor, you know, this wasn't, you know, we weren't hiring out an ad agency to do the videos when we launched. They were like, this is what we're doing at the cup level. You all of a sudden have tools locally that people have at the top level. Maybe not all, all right, but you have some of them. So I think, you know, I think folks nowadays, you know, have tools to make videos, to get followings, and exposure that they didn't have back then. It was a little harder, I think, back then.
And I didn't, like, speaking of social media stuff, I had no idea how big social media was. Like, because we've got Peyton Taylor Performance, I've got the Peyton Taylor Athlete page, which he's like, you need to get this, and you need to get a Twitch. So he's like pushing me on what I need to do. And Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, that's the one part you're not good at.
Yeah, I'm horrible. I'm horrible at that. But, like, you know, you don't think about it, but then I've got 5,000 on my personal page. I've got almost 2,000 on my performance page. So, and then you figure all them up, I've got close to 11,000 followers, and he's like, man, that's huge, you know. And then now we've got Andrew Zeller's Sport, and so now we're getting like AT&T where you can reach out there and touch somebody, you know.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Lost 40's got 30,000. You all have 2,000. So when you all post out about each other, who benefits? To some degree, it's y'all. And it's good for them because you're a niche that they're not touching. But you know, when we layer these things on top of each other, they start to make sense. I would say this. Just quick advice to dive learners. Once you get 5,000 on Facebook, you need to open an athlete page so you can continue to gain that audience. I mean, the folks that are younger are way better at TikTok and Instagram than I am, and they need to keep doing that. Twitter helps you interact, I mean, for lack of a better term, with famous people and media members. That's who's up there. And they will, I mean, get out there and tag Kenny Wallace and stuff, he'll respond to you. Mark Martin will respond to you. I mean, these guys are all over it. Jonathan Davenport, I mean, those guys are all over that platform. So, you know, you use different ones for different things. Facebook's more family and friends, but it's a good reach. Twitter's more connecting with, I hate to say celebrities, but bigger names, media members, things like that. And then, you know, Instagram's all about visual pictures.
Let's talk a little bit about what happened last week with the rebranding of the 01 car here, and Vaccinate Arkansas through a program with the Arkansas Department of Health, which I think is a very big deal, not only for what it stands behind, but when you get a state run organization like the Arkansas Department of Health that gets involved with motorsports, it's really a big deal. Let's talk about what happened there and how that came about.
Sure. We started working on this about 2 months ago, way before the Delta variant really changed the game as far as COVID's concerned. I mean, this is a huge problem and need in Arkansas today. We ran out of hospital beds. We had 8 hospital beds yesterday. We set a record on hospitalizations. I mean, the need for getting this information out there, getting people comfortable with this vaccine is great, and we think that we have a platform in motorsports to do that. We asked Acre Trader in Lost 40 to step aside for a couple months. You can probably imagine that the Department of Health is not a huge moneymaker, for us, right? But it's a need. My wife is a physician, and every day I have to see the pain on her face when she comes back from work. She's a pediatrician, and she works with babies and newborns, and so you end up with complicated pregnancies because of COVID. So that's what she's seeing firsthand. But her peers are seeing even worse, things than this all the time. So you just at some point you got to get in the game. I mean, we are an apolitical race team. We don't do politics. We're not going to get involved in the mass conversation. The vaccine's the ticket out of here, and we want to get in the game, and that's what we were doing last week. Now, we talk about how marketing creates extra work. I mean, if you're going to unveil a sponsorship that's relevant to the news at that time, well, where better to do it than in downtown Little Rock? So we went on Main Street. They gave us the spot for free. We had 3 television stations out there, print out there as well. Peyton's got to come down there. We got to navigate the rain. We were worried about the rain.
Yeah, we had an issue there, but hey, it all worked out.
Yeah, and we, we got 3 different news stories placed. I was worn out by noon from that deal. And then Peyton had to go race. So you talk about how tough it is to go market. I mean, he's got to go be down there at 8 a.m. and then be on the track at 10 p.m. and he's got to be the best Peyton Taylor possible at both those times in order for us to do what we're doing.
And he was. And he was.
And then he goes and wins the race and becomes Arkansan of the day, according to Craig O'Neill yesterday.
I've seen that, Arkansan of the day, that's right.
That was pretty cool. I'm going to be honest with you.
The drivers always get the glory.
And Craig
There you go, Craig.
Very well-respected media personality in Arkansas, and to be the recipient of that's quite an honor.
That was pretty cool. We got a phone call yesterday evening, and I was in the bed at like 9:30. They're like, "You need to watch this at 10:30. It's coming on." I'm like, "I'm probably not going to be up at 10:30 to watch that." And just so happened, I wound up just fixing to turn the TV off, looked over, it's 10:30. So I'm like, "All right, we'll flip over there." And he did his deal, and it was pretty cool because I figured like Mom, or I didn't know Spencer did it or who did it, but somebody called it in because we was representing the Vaccinate Arkansas. It was very cool to be a part of something that's such a great cause, and then to go out there and win. And I felt like we dominated that night, that feature. And to do a win like that for a campaign like this in dominating fashion, it felt good. It felt right. And so then I text Mom, and she tells me that Craig actually called her and asked her what all was going on. And so it was pretty cool. She got to give him some insight on all that. And, it's just humbling to be a part of such a great deal. I couldn't do it without Spencer and the entire gang at Andrews Auto Sport. Vaccinate Arkansas, that whole campaign crew, Lost 40, Acre Trader. We've got our new car, Lethal Chassis, my wife and kids. But you got to have all the right ingredients, and I feel like we're there. I feel like we're going in the right direction.
And in saying that, Peyton, you can tell everybody the big reason behind you wanting to do this.
Well, like I said, we've been talking about it for 2 months, and there's so much negative out there, and I feel like we need to be starting to work towards the positive and getting the right foot forward. And so it's just kind of weird. We was actually going to release this a week earlier.
Yes.
And then with me and Sean and Lexi being vaccinated, my boy is not eligible for the vaccine. So And anybody that knows my boy knows he's wide open. I mean, anybody with a nickname Rowdy, you know they're carrying some gear and bumping the chip. So we got ready to do this deal, and Kyle got sick, and we had to go down, get him tested, and it was tough. And I know everybody's got their pros and cons, and everybody's part doctor. But I can guarantee you this, when that stuff comes into your home, and you got to change the way you live for several weeks, you'll have a different opinion of it. And, you know, I'm thankful me and Sean had got the vaccine, because if we hadn't, then, you know, we wind up getting it, and then we're out of work longer, and, you know, it really all come together, you know, all the pieces of the puzzle come together when Kyle got it, you know, and when you walk by and your boy's in there crying because he can't come out of his room, and it's tough to watch as a parent, you know, when you go in there and, you know, we've always been a really tight family. Everybody laughs because we go on vacations all the time. I just call them just researching how to have fun. But, you know, we give our kids sugars every night. We tell them we love them. And, you know, when you got to distance that and you can't give that love that they need when they need it, that's tough. That's tough. And so, you know, for us, that was the biggest, you know, that let us know right then, hey, yeah, we're definitely on the right field to play ball.
What's been the response thus far? Obviously, you've had a lot of media coverage, but how would you calculate the response so far in just a few days to this campaign?
I mentioned we're not done with media coverage. We got more coming. Just say that. But the response, I mean, I gotta be honest, we were a little concerned. I mean, because we really worked to build the brand of this team, and there's not much reason for anybody in Arkansas to accept us into that garage area, because we really haven't done the grassroots thing very long. And so I'm worried about, okay, here's this thing that we've built that we're trying to make authentic, we're trying to make it cool, we're trying to help it represent Arkansas outside the state. We want to go outside the state. And we're just going to leverage that with a thing that's polarizing, right? But we just believed in it so much we had to do it. So we were worried. And I mean, I don't know if it's respect for Peyton. I don't know if it's respect for the dirt track community. I think it's a lot of both those things. But the chatter back has just not been bad. And the Department of Health sees that. They're encouraged. Maybe our posts don't get 500 likes. Maybe they get 250. That's fine. That's what we're trying to do here. And you know, the pushback that we got was from people thinking that maybe this was a frivolous spin by the Department of Health, which wasn't much. I'm trying to explain to y'all. We're giving them a good deal because we care about this. And so anyways, like the pushback didn't come from where you thought it was. It was not the vaccine hesitant folks that gave us any negativity online, and it was overwhelmingly positive. So we've been very happy.
I just think it's awesome that an organization like the Department of Health sees the value, the potential value out there that Arkansas Motorsports can bring to help get ahead of this COVID situation.
And let me be a little bit clear about what we're doing here, what Andrews Autosport is doing. We did not say, hey, get your stickers on our car, we're awesome, right? You know, we want them. No. We said, if you want to go do this, it's not really about us. You need to be supporting I-30 Speedway. You need to be supporting Batesville. We've got a couple of drivers you might want to do something with. There are other people that make this community go that you got to go do things with, not just us. So that's, and I just, luckily we found some people there who trust us and say, you know what, we think y'all know what you're doing. Like, go help us out in this community. We care about it, and that's what happened.
You know, you see a lot of times people say, well, I'm tough and I'm going to get through this, and I've been around races of all type for a long time, and realistically there are no tougher people out there than guys and ladies that get behind the wheels of these race cars on Friday and Saturday night, and to have someone like y'all come forward and say, hey, we got the vaccine, that's a big deal. That's a big deal to the racing community.
I will mention, we're going to have another vaccine drive at Batesville, not this Saturday night, Saturday night at the Topless. And I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble right now, is that whoever gets that vaccine at that race, we're going to cover their grandstand pass or pit pass, either one. And not the Department of Health, because I know what's going to happen. They're going to say that's government bribery, all right? This is not government bribery. We'll pay for it out of our team's budget if you get that vaccine at that track that night. And if not, that may not be the time you want to do it, okay? But go talk to your doctor, and they're going to tell you, they're going to shoot you. Talk to your doctor you trust, the person you grew up with, the person you've gone to all this time. But if anybody wants to participate in that vaccine drive, we'll let them in the track.
Well, I think that's a great thing, and I want to thank Dr. Goodall a few weeks ago to come out,
He had the idea before us.
And done it, and I know when they were set up over on the spectator side down below where I'm at there at the track, it was a great response from the fans that came up there and took the vaccine that probably in any other situation wouldn't have had the opportunity or wouldn't have took the opportunity to get it. So
I visited with Doc Allgood the other night when we brought this out, and he was real strong about it. He's real positive. Of course, he's a doctor, so he knows way more than I do. I'm sure he knows what ROI is. So, but he told me that they got 15. There was 15 got vaccinated. So that's pretty strong considering. We got 13 out of 30, and they pack way more in the stands on a local deal than Batesville does. So that was pretty cool to see outside looking in.
We were a little, I'm going to be honest, we were a little worried at I-30 when we did our vaccine drive 2 weeks ago. Because we did the post, this hadn't launched. We were on hold because of Kyle. But we wanted to do the vaccine drive anyway. So Tracy helped us out. She puts it out there, and it just spread like wildfire when that post went out. And some of it was negative, right? And we got a little concerned. But the reality of it is we got no negative comments. We only got, when we were there, in person, positive comments. People being super friendly, even if they didn't like it, defending us being there and in support of it. It just goes to show you what you see on your likes, dislikes on Facebook and social. As much as I'm talking about that having value, sometimes that's just not reality. And so what we found was people that were very open to the idea, and it was refreshing. It made me feel optimistic about the whole deal.
And like I said, I think it's a great cause. And the other thing I think that's important about this sponsorship, outside of what it stands for and what we all hope to achieve from it, is the fact that, and I'll go back and say it again, that an organization like the Arkansas Department of Health recognized that there was a great marketing opportunity there in Arkansas motorsports, whether it be dirt track or drag racing. I mean, there's a market out there that needs to be reached. And I'm just thankful that you and were able to get with them and open their eyes to what motorsports in Arkansas has to offer.
And there's other campaigns out there. They have other causes, whether it's heart health or women's health, mammograms. I mean, there's things they're out there advertising about that they need people to pay attention to that Arkansas needs. And so if they can realize that motorsports marketing gives you a little more reach than you ever thought it could, then this may not be the end of it. We may do some other things.
Well, the thing of it is, and on an average night, the fan count may not be in the thousands of what a company might be looking for on a regular race night. Now, when tracks have bigger shows, obviously there's more people that come, and there's a bigger marketing opportunity there. But I think the great thing about Arkansas Motorsports is whether you live in Fort Smith, Arkansas, or you live in Little Rock or Batesville or Jonesboro, let's be honest, us racing people, we're racing junkies. And we're on the internet constantly keeping up with what's going on in Fort Smith, what's going on in Little Rock, what's going on here. So, there may not be as many folks that turn out for a race on a regular night, but in a week's time, the exposure that everybody gets, especially social media, the internet, is just astronomical.
Yeah, this is not the only discipline I work in. I mean, I handled the sponsorship for Verizon Arena for 6 years. NFL sponsorships, college football. I mean, I've done all of that stuff, right? This stuff just hits differently. I don't know how to describe it. We were talking about that passion. When you put that post out there and it's relevant, it just does something different in this community that it doesn't do in other sports. I can't exactly explain it.
And the thing of it is, and we talked about this earlier, is that how loyal dirt track fans are to the people that sponsor the sport. I don't know of another sport out there, especially in Arkansas, that the fans are as loyal to people that invest money into the sport. And I just think there's a lot more to come in Arkansas as far as companies and businesses investing in the sport.
I mean, and I do this for a living. I mean, I'm a director of marketing at BSR Reed. Company is headquartered here in Arkansas. Unfortunately, I can only advertise in Canada for my job because that's where we're traded. So I can't have a race car. we can't sponsor an arena, but there's no other way where your logo is part of the field of play. Stick and ball sports don't offer that. If you're Coke and you sponsor the, well, you're not going to sponsor the racetracks, but Pepsi, you're sponsoring the racetracks. I mean, you're not on their uniforms, right? It doesn't work that way. So the retention of that logo is not the same, even though the passion for that sport may be better than in motorsports, right? But in motorsports, your logo is the field of play. It is the thing that people are watching. And that's just what makes it so sticky and what makes it reach so far.
Speaking of logo placement, I got to chime in here real quick.
Big news on your, well, you don't know what
But you see all these, we're talking about sponsorship and all that. So the first time we did a car, we did the Acre Trader car, we was lettering it, and which I was like everybody else. I liked all the decals, the stripes, the busy, and so this is no lie. So I get these decals where I don't really think they look good, and he all but tells me that looks like a pile of so I got to redo it, and like the first time we ever decaled this car, it probably took close to 3.5 hours. Wouldn't you say?
It's worth it.
It turned out, I didn't like it at first, I'm going to be honest with you. But now, like seeing that car on the track, people, Forrest Lucas said at that street stock race that we had the best looking car there. And this guy is king of marketing. I mean, he knows how to brand. And he said, look, that car is the best looking car here. And it was bland, but hey, you know what? When it's on the track, you can read everything
I
on it.
said the same thing the very first time I seen it. After the track, Bill Lawson said the same thing.
You know, when you're an announcer at a speedway, and a car comes around the track, even under caution, if I can't read it, neither can anybody else in the stands. So that business's marketing dollars just went down the drain, because if I can't read it, I can't.
You don't know it by heart.
I don't know it, by heart, and neither do the fans. And that's what I really like about how you do your cars up, is that your sponsors are going to get the maximum advertising value that they're going to get when their name goes a car. And I wish other drivers out there would look at what's going on here. And like I said, when you've got a car out there that everything is collaged together, and if I can't read it, neither can the fans. So your advertisers are not getting the marketing dollars that they deserve.
I appreciate you saying that. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems I see in dirt track racing is, everybody that gives you $200, has got a logo on the car, and all of a sudden none of them matter. And I don't really know how to solve that, because I know people want to come to the track and they want to be connected with the driver, and that's money. That matters. But maybe break it up. Have a night that's for this guy. Have a night that's for this guy. We leave this white, and we stick the biggest damn logo possible. If it's Lost 49, they're there. If Acre Trader guys there, they're there. If Vaccinate Arkansas's there, they're there for the next 2 months. But make it interchangeable. But yeah, you gotta have a clean look and big logos, because it matters not just in the stands and with the announcer, but on photography and on social. That's what matters.
And I want to say something else. I've been announcing dirt track races for over 20 years. And one of my biggest pet peeves is you see a car that's loaded with sponsors, and you get the driver information card, they're in the booth, and they fill out everything, and there's sponsors all over the car. When you get down to the sponsor blank, they don't take the time to list their sponsors. That's got to change. That has got to change in the sport. So, we obviously, from a marketing standpoint, have to do some education with our racers. But the other question I want to ask is, what do we do education-wise for companies and businesses for them to see the light of how valuable that motorsports marketing is here in Arkansas?
Ooh.
And I'll let that be the Shaw Race Cars question of the week.
Well, you have to take a little bit of time at the end to snap, or to give them a report about what happened. How many likes were there? How many people attended the racetrack? Who posted? You got to do a sponsors report at the end. And I'll give everybody just a secret. I mean, there are tools you can find online where you can load those metrics in that will give you a dollar figure. And that dollar figure is going to be more than they spent. So, I mean, they're free. I mean, I don't exactly know which site we used recently, but you can just Google it, social media metrics and how you measure it. And there's calculators out there. You can load this stuff in, and it'll say, this is worth $8 grand. Good. That's awesome.
That's something that's going to be very important, I think, in the future for everybody involved, if they'll reach out there and take advantage of it. I know you hear a lot of drivers say over the years, well, I can't get a sponsor. Well, a lot of them don't try. And I know, a lot of people have tried, and the old proverbial door has been slammed in the face. But I think what y'all have done, and the example that y'all have set here, just goes to show that with a little extra elbow grease outside the shop and a little bit of a business attitude, great things can come in the form of sponsorship. But they've also got to remember that it goes much further than just going to the racetrack on Saturday night and racing a car.
Yeah. I want to say, with saying that, yeah, people need to carry themselves a little bit different, Put the shoe on the other foot. If you're giving somebody money, how would you like them to look? How would you like them to appear? When you're in the pits, have your crew, just have a shirt. It don't matter if it's a black shirt, a white shirt, or whatever. Have them tucked in. Have your hair combed. Don't be wearing a bandana. Just try and represent your race car and your team well. Keep your shop clean. If somebody comes over, if just say your sponsor drops by and there's oil on the floor and oil dry and stuff just everywhere. I mean, when you walk in my shop, it's clean. When he comes in there, it's nice. And, I just think that's some more mileage that goes with it. It's definitely not going to hurt you. And I just, use your manners. I mean, you may have somebody wanting to sponsor you that you don't even know is wanting to sponsor you. But, if you're walking around like, you just got, I guess, public perception's a lot.
And I'm a little bullish, for lack of a better term, on dirt racing and grassroots racing. Because I think obviously, when I was in NASCAR, the grandstands were sold out every Sunday. They were practically sold out Saturday. I mean, it was the biggest sporting event in the country every single weekend. That is not the case right now. And where do those sponsors go? They didn't quit liking cars. They didn't quit liking racing. I'm not knocking NASCAR. They got a great product on the track. But some of that interest is turning local, I believe. And with streaming, the possibilities are out there for you to get on TV very early on in your career. So, I think there's a lot to it. I also just want to say, as we're kind of getting towards the end of this deal, having folks like you do the media side of this, having Facebook think of that media route. Having you guys go to people's shop and telling these stories, capturing, having Mark Martin do his podcast that he did, where he captured his entire history. These things are so important to have media members capture this content so people can see it. Without that, I know we lost track of that a little bit in NASCAR. We thought sometimes the media was the enemy, and sometimes they're prying too much. But without them, you got nothing. Nobody's going to hear your story. So it's really thankful to you all for the program you're running here, because it matters to Arkansas motorsport specifically.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, Heath, as Spencer said, we're getting down close to the end of the program, and I guess I'll kick it over to you for the New Vision Sport shirts. vision for the future.
Which we have to sell now.
Yeah, and we will have a little deal on the Facebook page following the show of a picture of this nice shirt that Kurt Shaw designed, and he'll have all the information how those can be purchased. So I'll kick it over
I
to
guess
you.
the question is right now for Peyton is rest this year, what are we looking for in the L1 car?
We're definitely gonna keep focusing on Batesville, doing some testing. We're working on tires right now. I feel like we got a really good balance right now, but we need to be better. You know, with that 50,000 to win coming up, we want to make sure we've got everything where we need to be at, and we're doing that. We've had good runs the last couple of nights we've been out there, but we're gonna run topless next weekend. We're gonna run local Friday. We're gonna run topless.
We're going to shoot a commercial Friday. I just want everybody to know that. We're actually going to shoot a commercial. It's going to be on TV. We're going to shoot it in Batesville Friday. I don't know exactly, if that'll be hot laps or the heat race or whatever, but anyways, throw that in there. Gotta layer something on top.
So we're gonna double dipping.
Double dipping.
Sorry,
that's how I think.
commercial and racing Friday, and then we follow that up Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the mod portion, topless 100.
And we're going to throw something out there real quick for Batesville Motor Speedway. That is one of the largest dirt track stock car events in Arkansas, and it brings drivers from all over the United States to the Lucas Oil Series. So hats off to Connie and Mooney to continue that great race here in Arkansas.
It's actually a crown jewel late model event, so
40,000 to win on Saturday
50.
night. Is it? I think it's 40.
Is it 40?
Yeah.
I thought they was all right.
I'm going to correct you before your mom gets excited.
I tried getting her to jab up that mod pot the other night to 800, and she's like, let's not do that again.
But no, it's 40,000 to win on Saturday night.
But they got shows on Thursday and Friday also?
Yeah, those are 5 and 5 on Thursday.
Okay,
and-
all right, that's where I
So I got you covered, Miss Connie. So
Sorry, Mom. So we got that, and then we may do some stuff in the stock car. I want to get as many laps as I can at Batesville. With the money they've got coming up towards the end of the year, they've got the topless, which is 3 nights of the mod portion. The next weekend they got the 10,000 win street stock race. We've won that 3 years now, so we've got the opportunity to run for a guy there, and then we've got the 50,000 win modified race after that, and then that follows up with a 50,000 win stock car race. So there's 110 grand to win in 3 out of 4 weeks towards the end of the season.
It
So-
hasn't, Arkansas ever won race for home?
no.
I mean, the big money mod races, I mean, you can go back and find it. I mean, I know you've won one. So I'm sick of that.
Yeah, I'm ready for a game changer on that, but
I think Wayne Brooks is too.
yeah,
And I don't, actually, he would probably beat us.
he'll be good. But like I said, we've been doing some serious tire testing, trying to figure out. They put new dirt on the racetrack, and it's really me and Jack Sullivan and Wendell. We've all talked about it, and to us, it's kind of like it was back in 06, 07, 08, when it got black, you could race all over. And I've noticed that the last couple of weeks, we started 8th row, we started 5th row, and we've not run worse than 2nd. And I've been maneuverable. My car's been balanced enough, and even Wendell said, man, he said, it's different. He said, I'm telling you. But you can race on
And
it.
the other report we're getting back is it's not wearing tires like it used to.
Not wearing tires.
Totally. Shoot it through.
Killing them. It's
On the
killing them.
boards when they come in. I'm talking about.
Sorry,
But-
Nate, but
but
I got to
no.
prop the track just a little bit.
Yeah, it has been. They've got some kind of white clay on there now, and I've told some people. I even shared some posts, and they're like, "Oh, it's going to kill tires." I'm like, "Trust me, it's not hurting them." I mean, you look at these right here; they're not hurt at all, and we had good speed at the end. So, but we're going to do that, and then we may hit a couple other specials. We're not sure on that, but that'll be we'll have a little team meeting on that and see what everybody wants to do. But just thankful to get to hang out with this guy and his family and race and have fun.
The same question for Spencer Andrews Auto Sports. What are we looking for you for the rest of the year and your head?
well,
What you want to do?
we started out traveling so much. I mean, we immediately went to Vegas and Boone and Bristol, and I don't know that we did as good as we wanted to there. It was a lot of fun. We did some great stuff, but we came back to racing in Arkansas this summer to kind of get our momentum going, and it's just happened as of late. Finally, what we've been working for. We're about a year old now. This was about a year ago when we launched, and so we're finally to the point where I think we're focused on the big money races in Batesville. Absolutely, it'd be stupid not to with Peyton Taylor driving our car, right? But there's Vegas, and there's the Dome. We get an invite to that. I mean, we're not. We want to go and we want to win out of state. I kind of got two goals. One is to get a good finish at Race for Hope, and see if we can branch out and do something out of state long term.
Well, that's very interesting, and you've got some great goals set that are achievable, and we wish the two of you the best of luck for the remainder of 2021.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a pleasure tonight to have these guys on the show. Peyton's always great to have on the show, and Spencer has enlightened us so much on the marketing aspect of the sport, as well as one of the things that I wanted to get into tonight. He did was for all these high school kids and college kids to know that there is an avenue in motorsports for them to build a career on, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that this week. And like I said, we want to thank the Arkansas Department of Health's Vaccinate Arkansas campaign for finding an avenue in motorsports to get their message out there. And we also want to thank Lost 40 Brewery for being our host sponsor tonight here for Arkansas Motorsports Magazine. We would be amiss if we didn't thank Chambers Bank with 28 locations in Arkansas, as well as Shaw Race Cars, KR Performance Fuel, Skyway Buick GMC, Arkansas's #1 online auctioneer, that's True Grit Auctions, over in Dardanelle, Arkansas. We want to thank Weston Petroleum. We also want to thank Four-Play Speed and Muffler Shop, Eddie Hoyer, for everything he does for us. We want to thank Ecky's Parts and Accessories right over here in North Little Rock, Arkansas, as well as Blankenship's Pit Stop and Phil Potts Complete Park here up in Greenwood, Arkansas. Those guys keep us on the road traveling throughout Arkansas. And we want to thank our drag racing counterparts, Jackie Lewis down at Prescott Raceway. And we also want to say congratulations going out to Wayne and Patty Stiles at Central Drag Strip. They've got a big construction project going over there. They're doing a lot of repaving over there with the return road and pit area, and I know that's going to be a really nice staple for the state of Arkansas, so congratulations, Wayne and Patty, on that. And for my co-host, Heath Tate, our employee of the month again, Aaron Gilkey back there behind the scenes, who's flying out to Florida tomorrow, Spencer Andrews, and of course Peyton Taylor. I'm Bill Gilkey, and we'll see you back next week from somewhere here in Arkansas.